15 Things You Didn't Know About Anthony Bourdain. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Hello again, Aluxers, and thank you for choosing to spend some time with us today. Here at Alux, our goal is to present you with the facts and figures about the most luxurious and sought-after things in life. And today, we're going to take a look at one of the individuals who has done a lot to bring luxury cuisine to the forefront of American culture, Anthony Bourdain. Born on June 25, 1956 in New York City, Anthony Bourdain is an American chef, television personality, and author whose legendary personality and on-screen presence has seen him become one of the leading figures in food broadcasting in the country over the last 2 decades. Beginning his culinary career after graduation from the Culinary Institute of America in 1978, Bourdain went on to run numerous luxury kitchens in New York City, including Supper Club, Sullivan's, and One Fifth Avenue. And in 1998, he became the executive chef at the iconic Brasserie Leal in Manhattan. A career in media soon followed, and with successful shows like No Reservations, The Layover, and Parts Unknown, Bourdain has firmly cemented his place in the history of celebrity chef culture. Are you ready to dive deep? Here are 15 things you didn't know about Anthony Bourdain. Number 1. He is the official bad boy of celebrity chefs. Though perhaps more mellow in his older age, Anthony Bourdain is undeniably one of the most controversial celebrity chefs on the circuit, both on and off the screen. Bourdain's younger years in the restaurant business coincided with a major drug addiction, namely to cocaine, LSD, and even heroin. Managing to defeat his addiction demons, Bourdain still preserved some controversial elements of his personality, with his love of vulgar and colorful language warranting a viewer discretion warning for his popular show No Reservations. He is also not afraid to ruffle industry feathers and has regularly caused controversy by mounting verbal attacks on fellow celebrity chefs like Paula Deen, Guy Fieri, Sandra Lee, Bobby Flay, and Rachel Ray. Number 2. He has a few strange and unusual phobias. For a man with such a checkered and serious past, you might be surprised to discover that Anthony Bourdain has a few strange and unusual phobias. He may have traveled the world meeting lots of dangerous people and tasting lots of exotic and even dangerous food, but Bourdain has revealed on several occasions that he is deathly afraid of clowns, mimes, and nurses' shoes. Here at Alux, we can understand the apprehension about clowns and mimes. We've seen the movie It, after all, but nurses' shoes? That's a new one even for us. Number 3. He believes that Asian Americans are redefining American cuisine. Whilst many American celebrity chefs spend a lot of their time looking to preserve an old-fashioned barbecue-heavy based way of cooking, Bourdain believes that it's Asian American fusion that is redefining what we all consider as classic American cuisine. Immigration and the mix of cultures over the decades has led Bourdain to believe that fusion cooking is the future, and he was once quoted as saying, "American food has always been food made by whoever happens to be living in America, but there is a particularly interesting bunch of people who are really redefining what America's food is, and a lot of them happen to be Asian American." We can't argue with you there, Anthony. Asian fusion is absolutely delicious. Number 4. He gave up smoking when he became a father. Bourdain's bad boy image was often perpetuated on screen through his unashamed love of cigarettes. It is said that at a conservative estimate, Bourdain would go through a minimum of 2 packs a day, sometimes even foregoing breakfast in favor of a simple cup of coffee and a smoke. This all changed, however, when Bourdain became a father in 2007. When daughter Ariane was born, Anthony could no longer smoke in his home, and the unenviable prospect of having to go down to street level from the 11th floor apartment every time he wanted a cigarette eventually led to him cutting the habit out completely. Number 5. He's worth an estimated $16 million. It's estimated that Anthony Bourdain has a net worth of approximately $16 million. The majority of Bourdain's wealth has been amassed by his various book publications and television shows over the years, first making an international impact in the year 2000 with the release of his book Kitchen Confidential: Adventures in the Culinary Underbelly. Another book, A Cook's Tour, followed a year later, and this led to a TV show of the same name. Bourdain really made it big, however, in 2005, when the Travel Channel started airing both No Reservations and The Layover, undoubtedly the chef's biggest success to date. Other books by Bourdain include The Nasty Bits, Bone in the Throat, and Medium Rare, A Bloody Valentine to the World of Food and the People Who Cook. Bourdain has also contributed articles to the New York Times, Los Angeles Times, and The New Yorker. Number 6. He is notoriously critical of slow table service. For someone who must have spent the majority of their life inside restaurants, it is unsurprising to learn that Bourdain has a notoriously unforgiving attitude when it comes to slow table service from waiters. A man who definitely knows what he wants and knows how a respectable establishment should be run. Bourdain was once quoted as saying, "If it takes you more than 10 seconds to describe the wine I'm about to drink, you've kind of ruined it for me." Some might call this over-particular, but we expect nothing less from somebody who is always searching for perfection. Number 7. He had childhood dreams of becoming a comic book artist. It's hard to imagine the culinary landscape without Anthony Bourdain's imposing presence, but did you know that he actually had childhood ambitions of becoming a comic book artist rather than a chef? Though he has never provided any of the illustrations for his graphic novels, instead strictly co-writing the original novel Get Jiro for DC Comics in 2012, Bourdain has often cited his own artistic talents in interviews, expressing his love for the medium and proclaiming that it was his ambition as a child to become a celebrated comic book artist. Number 8. He never eats airplane meals. Being fastidious about food, it comes as no surprise that Bourdain never eats airplane meals. Rather than tasting the questionable delights of the plastic section trays, Bourdain instead makes a habit out of bringing his very own home-cooked meals onto the plane with him to eat when dinner time comes around. Number 9. He once appeared on the TLC reality show Miami Inc. In a move completely fitting with his bad boy image, Bourdain was once a guest on the TLC tattoo reality show Miami Inc. In 2006, tattoo artist Chris Garver worked his magic on Bourdain's right shoulder, giving him a brand new skull design. Bourdain was quick to point out that this was not his first time at the rodeo, with the televised skull taking his tattoo tally up to 4. Another of Bourdain's tattoos is the Ouroboros, an ancient symbol depicting a dragon eating its own tail, which he received whilst filming an episode of his travel show No Reservations. Number 10. He is a big fan of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Perhaps the biggest example of Anthony Bourdain's interests outside of the world of cuisine is his well-documented love of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. A combination of martial arts, grappling, and combat sports, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is something that both Bourdain and his wife, Otávia Bucia, are very passionate about. Anthony seems to us like a guy who could excel in pretty much anything that he tried his hand at, and his achievement in jiu-jitsu proved this theory. He received a blue belt in August 2015 and went on to win a gold medal at the IBJJF New York Spring International Open Championships a year later. Not bad for a guy who spends most of his time eating and writing and talking about food. If you want to learn more about the Jiu-Jitsu's country of origin, Brazil, you can do so by clicking in the top right-hand corner for our dedicated video. Number 11. He sees vegetarianism as an insult to developing countries. Clearly not following with the modern trends of vegetarianism and veganism, Bourdain has gone on record as saying that he believes the concept of vegetarianism in first world countries to be an insult to those struggling in developing nations. Whilst he does admit that Americans on average do tend to eat too much meat in their everyday diets, he also believes that the process of refusing parts of a readily available diet in a prosperous, privileged society is an insult to the numerous nations around the world that are not getting the nutrition that they need. Number 12. His love of food was sparked by tasting an oyster. In the lives of high-profile, successful artists, musicians, actors, and indeed chefs, there is often a single moment in time that they look back on and cite as the determining factor in their career path. For Bourdain, this happened to be when he was a child on vacation in France with his family. Bourdain tried his very first oyster, fresh off an oyster fisherman's boat, and this moment and experience had such a profound effect on him that his life ambition changed immediately from comic book artist to future world-class chef. Number 13. He and his crew were once stranded in Beirut during a major conflict. Bourdain's popular show No Reservations often took its host and crew into unusual and sometimes dangerous locations around the world, but perhaps none more so than in 2006, when they found themselves stranded in the middle of an unexpected conflict in Beirut. After having filmed only a few hours of footage in the location, a terrifying Israel-Lebanon conflict broke out, and after days of hiding and waiting in a Beirut hotel, Bourdain and his crew were eventually evacuated with the help of a mysterious fixer. The Beirut episode of No Reservations was aired in August 2006 and was nominated for an Emmy Award the following year. Number 14. He had a major falling out with the Food Network. Whilst employed by the Food Network, Bourdain was on a book tour in Spain, which led him to meeting the legendary El Bulli chef Ferran Adrià. The two became fast friends, with Adrià inviting Bourdain to film an episode of A Cook's Tour with him, giving unprecedented access to his creative kitchen process. The Food Network refused this opportunity, preferring instead that Bourdain stick to his usual show formula. Being the bad boy that he is, Bourdain ignored company orders and filmed the episode with Adrià without permission, causing a major falling out between the two parties. The best part of this story? Bourdain and his production took this forbidden episode and sold it to the Travel Channel, and it eventually became the plot for No Reservations. Number 15. He fires employees if they play Billy Joel music in his kitchens. There have been plenty of eccentric stories over the years of the strict regimes genius chefs adopt in their kitchens, but perhaps one of the most eccentric and out-there rules is one laid down by Bourdain pertaining to musical preference. A die-hard fan of punk music, Bourdain has often threatened that the playing of Billy Joel music in his kitchens is an immediate sackable offense. However, there is a more pleasant, fun side to this story, as Billy Joel has proclaimed himself to be a fan of Bourdain's, even visiting his restaurant from time to time. So there you have it, 15 facts about one of the most interesting and controversial celebrity chefs today. Are you a fan of any of Bourdain's cooking travel shows? If so, do you have a favorite memorable moment or episode? Let us know down in the comments. Thanks for joining us today, Aluxers. Here's one final bonus fact for sticking with us right to the end. Number 16. He has been immortalized by The Simpsons. There are some in the entertainment industry who say that you haven't really made it until you have appeared on The Simpsons, and this cementing of legendary status came for Bourdain in 2011 when he voiced himself in a cameo for the episode The Food Wife, in which Bart, Lisa, and Marge start a food blog titled The Three Mouthketeers. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxer. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. If you want more, we handpicked these videos you might enjoy, or head over to Alux.com for the best in fine living content on the planet. Be a part of the largest community of luxury enthusiasts in the world and tell your story.